from Alaska. It is 10 o'clock here, Alaska time. Fishing on the Kenai River for salmon. Today it is fishing. It's been a little bit, I have not gotten one yet this morning. I did get down here a little bit later. It seems like it is fishing today. Count 2 days ago was 48,000. A count wasn't posted yet for yesterday. It does appear that it has slowed up even a little bit more. Yesterday I was able to get my possession limit of 6 salmon. I see one of them swimming up through here right now. He's got white spots on him. He's a sick one. I don't want to catch that one. He's probably not going to make it up another 60 miles to the spawning grounds. I did get out here this morning a little bit later than normal. My neighbor Kenai invited me to go with him on a canoe trip on Lake Cooper yesterday afternoon, or last night. We paddled around the edge of the lake. He was hunting for black bear. It was very peaceful and quiet there. Since we paddled and there was no motor, it was, we did not see a black bear. We did see a cow moose though, which was great. But I can see them along the road at my property here. They're all over the place. I got back here. I think we got to the lake at 7 o'clock. And it's a pretty good sized lake, Cooper Lake. It's an hour away from here, and it was 10:15 when we got off the lake, and it was a little bit after 12 o'clock when I got back to my place and got to bed. So I slept in just a little bit this morning, and got down here a little bit later today. So far nothing. I've seen a couple of them jump. Confident that there's still enough fish in the river that I will get a few of them. Today it's called fishing, not catching. I think Tuesday I got a halibut outing. The 6th. Today is the 3rd. Sunday, Monday, yeah. I think that my next halibut outing out of Homer is on Tuesday. Looking forward to that. It's a long day. Leave here about 4:15 to be down in Homer on the dock by the boat by 6:15. Leave at 6:30. It's an all-day deal. If the weather is calm, to go out about 60 miles to go out to where they like to go. Usually end up with halibut, lingcod, yellow eye, black bass, and Pacific cod. They're all good eating. They're all a white fish. My last halibut outing, I got some of each. I ended up with about 33 pounds of fish, I believe. It's a 35-foot enclosed boat, enclosed cabin. The back end is open. It's a 6-pack boat. 3 people can fish on each side on the back. You have a captain and a deckhand. Usually the captain takes one side and tends to 3 people, and the deckhand tends the other side with 3 people. You fish off the bottom. So you're fishing anywhere from 100 to 300 feet of water, depending on what you're fishing for and what spot they go to. There's not been a lot of pinks that come in the river yet. They will pretty quick though. And there's a few, I heard there's a few silvers in the river coming in now. I have not caught one yet or seen one. Pretty peaceful here. I love being by the river. I love being by the river and I love fishing. Now it's time for the joke of the day, if I may. What do you call a salmon with a goatee? A salmon with a chinook. Ha ha! Checking the hook. The hook is still nice and sharp. I think today is the 3rd. My son is coming up on the 10th. I got that snag. Up. I'm going to see if I can step in the river since I got the waders on and reach out beyond the snag. Come on. I did save it. Good thing I have got my waders on. This water is like 53 degrees. It would have been a cold plunge otherwise. There's that one spot that there's a snag. Suspected it's a piece of wood. It's a rocky bottom. A lot of times the hooks won't hook on the rocks. They will dull it. Pieces of wood that are too big for the rod to pull up will get you hooked. In the springtime when the water is low yet, 6 feet lower, you can see the water was about 4 feet out here. Right away in the springtime there's no water in front of here until the glaciers start melting more. Then the water comes up. I usually walk out there and pick up all the wood pieces that are out in front here, throw it up on the bank so I don't snag them later in the year when I'm fishing for salmon. This year I got up here a little bit later and the water had already come up. I didn't get out there to do that. I believe the cumulative escapement number for the salmon is 1.7 million that have made it past the fish counter. That's estimated. To go up to a sea like lake to spawn. Hoping for another good run of, another good school of sockeye coming through. If not, pinks are going to be in the river before. There's some in the river already, not a lot. I can start fishing for silvers. And believe me, when pinks come in, there's going to be a bunch of them in here. I don't fish for pinks, but when I'm fishing for sockeyes and silvers, I end up catching them. They get in the way, and I save them. They're no good to eat. Most of them are no good to eat when they have that hump on the back. So I'll save them and I'll bury them in my garden for fertilizer. You can tell right away when you get a pink. When you hook a pink before you see them, they don't fight like a sockeye do. They go in circles. So right away when your fish goes in a circle, you know, there's another pink. The silvers don't fight quite as good as the sockeyes do either, but the silvers get bigger. They're fun to catch. so far?
Not really.
Pretty slow for sockeyes this morning too.
Is it?
That's why it's called fishing.
That's right. I'll be back. We gotta start somewhere.
There's a boat going by, a guide with some fishermen fishing for trout.
Oh yeah.
Oh. Looks like one of them caught a little bitty trout. Come on, fish. Got some good exercise in the canoe yesterday with my neighbor and rowing around the lake there, probably 3+ miles. I haven't rowed, ran an oar for a couple years. Cooper Lake is a lake up in the mountains, so we drove up. It's a nice lake. It was very peaceful, quiet back in there. Kenny wants to go on Kenai Lake, which is up by Cooper's Landing where the split is in the road going to Anchorage or Seward. That lake is really long. It's like 30 miles long. I've never been on that lake, so I'm looking forward to going with him and experiencing that. I'm not sure what's in there for fish. We did not take our fish lines with last night. On Cooper Lake, I believe there are fish. We've seen fish jump. Possibly rainbow trout are probably there. Some of the lakes up in the mountains have grayling in them. Some of them have rainbow trout in them. So it's a good source of food if you go up there to camp overnight, to pack a fish line and do a little bit of fishing to eat. Just gotta make sure the smell stays down. I'm gonna have company from the bears. They would like to have a taste of that too. Kenny is looking, my neighbor's looking to harvest a black bear. He prefers black bear to eat over caribou or moose. Especially, he says, if the black bear is a berry bear, if he's been eating blueberries, the meat is very sweet. I don't remember really tasting any bear. I don't think I've ever tasted caribou or moose, but I am planning on going moose hunting in September with my Sherp, going back in off road for 10 days to 2 weeks, and I'm going with the 2 other Sherp owners. It's a lot of these spots, there's a lot of swamp and a lot of trees. It's a challenge to get back in where the moose are, and not a lot of other hunters, so I'm looking forward to this experience. Okay, for those of you that don't know this kind of fishing, the sockeye salmon come up the ocean, the inlet, to the mouth of the river, and they swim up 80 miles to Ski Lac Lake. The sockeye salmon are plankton eaters. They do not bite on bait, and they take the path of least resistance, so they're right out they're a couple 3 feet out. A lot of times the water is so silky from the glacier rock silt that you can't see them. It has cleared up a little bit, it has rained for a while. And the path of least resistance is down in the bottom, and as you can see, it's about 4 foot deep right here. So the idea is to get enough weight on there when I put in at 10 o'clock that I feel the weight touching the bottom like twice, bump, bump, and that will take this line down to the bottom. Also, this little egg isn't bait, it's unscented plastic egg to float the hook a little bit. And the idea is the salmon swim upriver to sockeye with their mouth open to put it in the water, kind of lead the weights across and let the current push this down through to get a sweep. The idea is to land this in their mouth, and when I pick up at the end, if that's in their mouth, it'll hook them. It's a different kind of fishing, but that's how it's done. Let's see if I can get one and show you. Get 2 of them, get 3 of them. Right now the possession limit is 6. Usually on the Kenai River they would start out with a possession limit of 3 until the escapement cumulative escapement number was up to 700,000-ish. Then they would up it to 6, feeling that they had enough of them go up through to get to Ski Lac Lake to spawn for the next hatching. This year, we estimated a big number of fish, 2 million. There's been 1.7 estimated counted. They started out right away with 6. That you can keep 6 of them in a possession. That you're allowed 6 in possession. That's the first time I've seen that happen in 20 years that I've fished, or 24 years that I've fished the Kenai River. So I have quite a few in my freezer. I do expect another school of them just to pick up to come through, and silvers to come through yet. I have way more than I can eat, but I'm from a family of 13. So I do share them with my siblings. I'm looking forward to this halibut outing on Tuesday to get more halibut for the winter. Going to have to take a break and see if it gets better later today. You just never know when that next school of fish will come through, and you better be ready when you see them jump, or when you be down here, then you know you're in. I'm pretty blessed to have this property and have this private river frontage, so I can keep watching it throughout the day while I'm doing other chores around the property. I do live streaming from 10 to 10:30 Alaska time daily while fishing. Oh, there I felt one. But you want to start flying with the Civil Air Patrol and keep my piloting sharp. I need to take some online tests with them, and then I'll get checked out with one of the instructors. They have a 172 Cessna over at the squadron over here in Kenai. I just signed up for it here 3-4 weeks ago, and fishing has kind of gotten in the way for doing the paperwork online that I need to do. I'll get to it here before long. Fishing is slowing down now. All right, well, that's going to wrap it up. I do live streaming daily from 10 to 10:30 Alaska time, so hopefully